gonna do my makeup and talk shit about myself. Let's talk about it.
I'm fine, there's an oversimplification, cause I'm really contemplating. I just haven't picked the day yet. I'm fine, just don't ask me to elaborate, cause I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. I'm fine, I'm fine.
Alright guys, yeah,
I'm not what I'ma say.
my name is Taylor. I think we all know that by now. Welcome to SadGirlNextDoor. Today I'm actually gonna get into a lot of I don't want to say a lot of sad girl stuff. However, I'm gonna kind of just talk about my mental health just in general. That's why I said talk shit about myself, because I normally make it into a huge joke. And while I do that, I'm going to do my makeup. I'm actually going to use two products here that were just sent to me. I did not pay for these. I just want to let everybody know that I did not pay for these. This is a gift from influencer, so that's cool. This is Kat Von D Good Apple stuff, her new foundation and concealer. I don't own I've never spent any money on a single Kat Von D product before in my life. And I thought, well, since I'm going to do my makeup, this would be a really good time to just kind of review that product as well, those two products. So we'll see. I have my handy dandy makeup remover wipes if I really don't like it. So we're just going to have to see. I apologize that my hair looks like crap, but you can't always look hot, as I just told Darren. So, speaking of Darren, actually, really quick, you guys probably noticed that there was a new intro song. I don't know if anybody notices actually or pays attention to that, but I want to say a big congrats to my friend Darren, who just released that song, which is called Fine. You can stream that on Spotify. Can you also stream that on Apple, or is it just Spotify? Everywhere. You can stream it anywhere that you get your music. So do that, because it's a bop. Actually, I really like it. It's probably my new fave. So congrats, Darren.
Thank you, dog.
Can we add a clap track?
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm just gonna get started here. I gotta take my glasses off and my nose ring out, so you guys are gonna see me without glasses for a little bit. I might just Bailey Sari in this and not tell you what I'm using and put in the description, just because that just seems like a lot of work. I'm gonna have to stop and be like, oh, I'm using this, and I honestly have no idea really what I'm using, so I might actually just need to just list it out for you guys if anybody's curious. I'm never curious when I watch her videos, so so let me just get down to it. So mental health is something that I am very, very, very passionate about. If anybody knows me, then they'll know that that's kind of how I started out my entire platform, was talking about mental health and the repercussions of shitty relationships. One particular one that I had, yeah. So that's how I started out doing blogging and YouTube, and then leading to SadGirlNextDoor. So back in when was that? 2019, I think. Back in 2019, I'm just gonna say 2019. I started doing this thing called Tay Hegeman Blog. I know. Really, really, really original name. I could not think of anything else. I am not savvy when it comes to picking names. SadGirlNextDoor came from a random name generator. Just gonna call myself out like that. But still, I had Tay Hegeman Blog. I was writing. I had a website, all that fun stuff. And I was getting a lot of traction with it, actually. Back in 2019, I was still really, really, really messed up from a relationship that had gone wrong. And that sucks. But I was just so messed up that I wanted to talk about it, because he was out just doing whatever he wanted with whoever he wanted, got a girlfriend, and just kind of was lying to me about all this stuff that was going on with them. And basically I was just kind of doing it to get revenge and just call him out on his bullshit. That's what I started doing, and it actually got me a little bit of traction. I think in the matter of like 3 months, I had about 1,000 followers on my account that I currently have, which is like the Tay Hegeman account. Back then it was Tay Hegeman blog. So people were really resonating with that story, because with that shitty relationship, just came a lot of bad mental health. I mean, I was like having like breakdowns. It was bad. Even the guy who was a complete POS was like texting my sister and saying like, hey, your sister's going absolutely insane. And normally I'm not one of those people to be like, calling people insane or psycho, because I think that that's one of the worst things that you can call somebody, is a psycho. But I was pretty bad. It was pretty bad. And so I kind of just finally hit rock bottom, and didn't really know what to do from there. So I started using Instagram as an outlet for that, just an outlet to talk about things. I didn't have the website when I first started. I was just, blogging on Instagram, which a lot of people do. Didn't realize it. They'll like post like really long posts. That's how I started. And then I decided, well, I want to write more. So I started writing, writing on Squarespace, and Squarespace is cool. I kind of like Wix better, to be honest. It looks more professional to me, but I also don't know what I'm talking about. So, oh my God. Sweet baby Jesus, pray for me. This is a really dark color. Okay. I'm nervous. Oh God. I'm gonna throw it this eye. But yeah, so, oh God, this is bad. It's also bad because I can't see. But yeah, so when I started doing like Squarespace writing, I got to go into a little bit more detail about anxiety and eventually depression, and then eventually sexual assault and the repercussions of it. And I think that, it was really helpful, especially to a lot of people in my area, the southern Wisconsin area where I'm at, because people don't talk about that stuff. People don't talk about mental health. They don't talk about rape, because they're scared, and I was not scared. Like, you know what? Like, they tried to scare me. Like, first of all, like, they tried to scare me. Like, my ex and his now fiance and her friend, they tried to scare me with, like, making posts about me saying, oh, they went to the police, and he threatened me to say, I'm gonna get the police involved. And I'm like, get the police involved, bro. Get the police involved. Because there's two sides to our story. You want to both get arrested? So then he dropped it. But still, like, I'm not scared of putting myself out there at all. It's been very beneficial to me, and I think has made me very credible. It's also made me apparently kind of annoying as well, but we'll get into that later. But I can't see anything. I'm just like, ugh. So I got sidetracked. Hold on. So yeah, I'm not scared to talk about anything. So basically what I decided to do was I was gonna continue to talk about my shitty ex-boyfriend, and then just like my mental health journey in general, because my mental health journey has actually been like a really, really, really long and ongoing thing. Okay. First time I can remember ever like feeling like depressed and like that I wanted to die, I was 12. I didn't understand what those feelings meant, but I was 12 at the Catholic school telling my friends that I felt like I would be better off dead. Just saying. So, that it's probably not a good thing. And then I kind of just left all of this like not relationship. What the fuck am I talking about? Not mental health stuff. I kind of left all this mental health stuff alone up until I was probably like 16. 17 years old, my friends and family got pretty worried about me, just solely for the fact that I wasn't doing well in school. I was kind of like, I don't want to say I'm like outburst or anything like that, but I was definitely nuts. Definitely a little crazy and just not acting normal. The thing is, though, is that mental illness does kind of run in my family. But what I mean by family is that, like, I'm adopted. So I don't know too much about my mental health or anything like that. All I know is that, like, my birth mom had, like, generalized anxiety disorder. And then my birth father just has a mental illness. Like, I have no idea, like, anything about him or, you know, I don't really care to know. But so it runs in my family, and it was just freaking my parents out, like my parents who adopted me. It was kind of freaking them out that I wasn't acting like I probably should have been. So I started going to therapy, and I realized that I was depressed. I had mild depression, and then after I got diagnosed with mild depression, I just stopped going to therapy again. So you shouldn't do that. Number one, you shouldn't stop going to therapy, because when I was 16, 17 years old and I stopped going to therapy, that did not help anything of mine, at all. Like, that didn't help. My parents, like, you need to continue to go back. This was up until, like, last year. Like, you need to keep going. You need to go back to therapy. And I would say, no, I'm fine. I'm absolutely fine. And if I would have actually been in therapy, I probably would have got over this whole shitty ex-boyfriend thing sooner. I probably would have done better in college. I probably would know how to treat people a little bit better, because I will be honest, I have not always been the best person, and that's okay. I mean, at least I realize it now. But as I said in a previous episode, like a few weeks ago, you know, having a mental illness does not give you an excuse to act like a jackass. And I definitely was acting like a jackass, and just, you know, I don't want to say using it to my advantage either, but I was definitely, you know, I didn't care. That's the big thing. It's like, I didn't care about my mental health, and I should have been really, you know, really taking care of it, especially when the points where I got so low that I wanted to, like, die. Like, I wanted to kill myself. And a few failed attempts later, I'm still here. So that's how bad it got. And if I wouldn't have neglected my mental health as much as I did, I probably wouldn't have scars on my arms, and I probably wouldn't have tried to kill myself a few times. And, you know, I don't want to say we all, because we all do not feel that way, to be honest. But I will say we all make mistakes, and those are some pretty big mistakes in my life, which is, like, self-harm, and then, you know, trying to unalive myself. Those are some pretty big mistakes. You know, that we're lucky enough, you know, to not work, because I'm still here. But it's a real thing. Like, I don't think people actually realize that, like, people feel that way, and they want to die. I felt that way when I was 12, and I still kind of feel that way at 23. Now, when I say I feel that way, it doesn't mean I'm not gonna, like, go and try to, like, kill myself. There are a lot of things that go through my brain every day. And, like, for example, yesterday I was hanging out with my old roommate Caleb and just ranting about my ex-fiance. Just talking about so much stuff. And I didn't need to do that. And then when I started doing that, I got anxiety, and then I was just like, you want to know what? I can't handle this anxiety anymore. I wish I wish I could stop. I wish I, you know, couldn't feel like this anymore. I wish that it would just all go away. And what I mean by go away is that I'm like, oh my God, you know, I wish I wasn't here anymore. And that doesn't mean I'm gonna do anything about it like that. Like, I don't want people to think I'm going to go and, like, hurt myself, because I'm above that. I'm past that now. But the reason why I'm talking about it is because this is what goes on behind closed doors and people don't realize it. And then it's too late. Luckily, I figured out that I couldn't do this anymore and that it would be selfish. And, ew. That's horrible. I'd be selfish, and then I've started to work on it. I started going to therapy again. December of 2020. Yes. December of 2020, I started going to therapy again because Brendan made me. To be honest, to be 100% completely honest, I was having like this weird like episode, and Brendan wanted me to go and get admitted to the hospital. And I was like, no, I'm going to get... Oh, I didn't say no. I said, okay, fine. I understand where you're coming from. I need a professional's opinion first. So that's what I did. And so I said, I'm going to go back to therapy. I need a professional's opinion. And then the professional basically said, like, he basically said, like, you can't just go and tell her that she needs to get admitted because they're not going to take her. That's selfish of you to say. And kind of called him out, which is fine with me because I kind of also thought it was bullshit. But I was willing to go because our relationship was on the rocks and it was going to be something to fix it. But then I continued on and I went to therapy and figured out a lot of things, kept going. Then me and him broke up, and I'm still going. And, you know, if I didn't have therapy, I would probably be right back to where I was when I was with my shitty ex-boyfriend before. And that is one thing that I realized, that, like, we need to take care of ourselves. Because if I didn't have my therapist, who knows where I would be right now. If I didn't have therapy and all these coping mechanisms and all that kind of stuff, where would I be? Not doing SadGirlNextDoor, I'll tell you that. My therapist loves the name, by the way. Sorry, the eyes are so hard. I don't know how does Bailey Sarian do this? How does she talk, and how does she, like, do her makeup? How does she do this? This is hard. Like, she says that she does these murder mystery and makeup shows, and she does the makeup so she doesn't get bored. Bruh, I'm struggling right now. I am struggling. Plus, I can see myself in the monitor. My face looks white. I am already not a fan of this foundation. I am white. We already knew that, though. Like, I am pale. Oh my god. And then I have, like, this dark-ass eyeshadow on. Like, ugh. But yeah, so, just continuing on. Mental health is serious. Obviously, I have not, I am, like, the perfect example of a fucked up person. And I'm not saying that to, like, get attention or whatever, but basically, I will say I am, like, a fucked up person. I love it. It's great. Honestly, saying, hi, I'm Taylor and I'm depressed, that's, like, my biggest personality trait. And I'm not, I'm really open with my entire mental health story. And I say this to, like, dudes. Like, last night I went on a date. And, basically just told him how fucked up I am. And he was like, that's really cool. I'm the same way. And I'm like, great. That's perfect. Gotta let them know what they're getting into. If that makes any sense whatsoever. But yeah. So I feel like I'm, like, skipping over a lot of stuff. And if you also feel that way, that is because there's a good chunk of my life that I do not remember. Does that make sense to anybody? Like, do you just not remember certain chunks of your life? Because from when I was 15 up until basically last year, I can't recall too much. And I don't know why that is. Probably something I need to talk with my therapist about. But high school was a trip for mental health. It was absolutely horrible. I was getting bullied, and I had this boyfriend who I was dating on and off from sophomore year until senior year. And we obviously didn't work out. I mean, 23, haven't thought about him in too long, but like that was just something, like we treated each other really poorly. And so that didn't help with my mental health journey at all. When me and him broke up, that just kind of jump started a lot of this shit. I can't see anything. I'm blind. And then yeah, there was basically everything from 15, because when I was 15, my parents got divorced, and everything just started spiraling downhill from there. And now I'm 23 and finally doing something about it. Don't be like me. Don't be like me. Go and do something about your mental health, no matter what. Because feeling hopeless and depressed and anxious and all this stuff all the time, it does not help you. It just holds you back. And being held back doesn't really, it's not good. You know, I held myself back for a really long time. Took some time off of doing all this internet stuff. Was like, you know, I did Tay Hageman blog, switched it over to Midwest Depressed. I was talking about mental health, and then when I was with Brendan, I didn't really feel depressed, so I kind of neglected all of that stuff. And then we broke up, and I was even more depressed, so I held myself back with it, because, like, what am I going to talk about? What am I going to, you know, do? I don't want to talk shit about him on the internet. And then now I'm just kind of, like, at a point with my mental health where I'm not a depressed piece of shit anymore, where I'm going to just lay in bed and mope around and hang out with my cat. I mean, I do that at night, but that's about it. I mean, I don't, on weeknights I do that, but yeah, there was a really decent time where I would not get out of bed. I got my job at the current place that I'm working at now, and for 3 days when I first started working there, I called in, but that's also because I tried to unalive myself. And I told my boss that, and I've been better ever since. But that's the point where I was at back in like May, and it's February right now, and I can already tell that the Taylor from last year is gone, because I started to take care of myself. You know, one of the reasons why I wanted to talk about mental health today and do like this makeup stuff, which I'm never doing again, by the way. I am never doing this again. Ever. This is BS. I'll tell you that. This is BS, because how the hell am I supposed to be like, oh, you know, this is, you know, I'm doing my eyeshadow and talking. I don't know how Bailey Sarian does it, but I'm just going to leave it to her. So I'm never doing this again. Darren, if I say I'm doing it again, you tell me no. He gave me a thumbs up. My hair doesn't look that bad. But yeah, we make progress. I made progress, at least I should say. And now we're thriving. Let's see here. I don't know what I want to use. I'm getting so like caught off track right now. Like this is.
You're all good.
What?
You're all good. Don't worry about it.
Oh.
You're good. I didn't know if you were talking to me or not. But.
No, I'm just, you know, in general, like, I mean, I feel like this entire episode right now is just kind of like, I had a plan, and then I'm doing this, and now I'm just kind of like all discombobulated. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do this. This doesn't seem too hard. Holy crap, I'm wrong. Like, honestly, dog, this is horrible. But, and now I keep looking at myself, I'm like, ooh, pretty. But, I don't even remember where I was at. We improved. We improved. And you wanna know what? It's funny to see how much you've improved over over a period of time, because like there's a lot of people in my life, or people who aren't in my life anymore, who I can see that they're not improving, and it makes me feel like I'm actually doing something right with my life when I'm improving my mental health and I'm actually taking care of myself and putting myself first. Like, I mean, I don't think I've put myself first in a really long time. You can ask Brendan and he'll say, nah, she put herself first in our relationship. But no. I did not. I haven't put myself first in a really long time. And that means, no boyfriends, just focusing on work, making money, going on my vacation to California, which I'm really excited about. I'm doing things for me. I don't have to answer to somebody else. I don't have to not be myself. That's the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing where, like, I like who I am as a person. I love who I am as a person. But like at work a few days ago, one of my coworkers said, I find you attractive, but you'd be more attractive if your attitude was better. Like, excuse you? Let me just be myself. I have a bad attitude. I have a bad outlook on life. And that's just kind of how it needs to be right now. I'm improving one thing at a time. But I like who I am. I like being sarcastic. I like being a brat. And it's just kind of how it is. I'm not that big of a brat, but, like, I can definitely be a brat. Ask my coworkers. But, like, not in, like, a bad way. But, still. It's like, we're improving over here. And somebody's like, you'd be way more attractive if your attitude was better. Excuse you, don't tell somebody that. Don't tell somebody that. And, like, the same thing when people are like, oh, you look better with blonde hair. Don't tell people that. Don't tell people that you like them better this way, or that you would like them better if they acted a different way. Don't do that, because that just makes people feel like shit. It did not make me feel good when I heard you'd be more attractive to me if your attitude was better. I think I got pretty pissed at him, and I actually told him, I was like, yeah, that's not cool. He's like, well, be yourself. And I'm like, but you just told me that you don't like me being myself. Explain that to me, please. We're cool now, though, but it just, it pissed me off. But what doesn't piss me off, I guess? Like, we have an episode called What's Bothering Taylor. What doesn't piss me off? But still. Ugh. This is hard. Darren, I think you need to do this on your show.
I don't know about that.
I think you should. This is really hard to talk and do makeup. It's like Tim, the episode with Tim. Yeah. But yeah, I'm done with this. So that was a fail, I think.
Perfect 30 minutes.
But okay, yeah. Or did you stop recording? No. Okay. So yeah. So I'll just wrap it up. Like, first of all, guys. Okay. I said I was going to review these two products. I'm still indifferent. I look really white in the camera monitor right now, but that's about it. I just think it's the lighting, too. It feels fine. It's cool. This is concealer. Concealer is concealer is concealer. I don't care anymore. So yeah, I'll give it a solid, 3 out of 5. Just because I don't care anymore. Sorry that this episode is kind of a fail and I was all over the place. This was an experiment. This experiment failed. Big time. But my message is, still something that's important. Take care of your mental health, or else you're going to turn out like me, 23, and just SOL. You just take care of yourself, you guys. It's easier said than done, but there are great resources out there like BetterHelp, which is cheap-ish, I think. It's cheaper than going to a therapist and having to use some insurance. I think without insurance, it's $60 a visit versus my copay of mine, I think, without insurance is $250 a visit before we meet the copay. It's something like that. being on medication, talking to a therapist, talking to your friends, talking to your family, it's all going to help you in the long run. You know, if you don't have friends or family, talk to a teacher or a coworker or a manager and tell them how you feel, because chances are they're going to care about your well-being more than, you know, you think. I remember when I told my manager I wasn't doing too hot, I talked to her and cried in her office for about an hour. And, you know, ever since then, I've been really open about it because I need to be. Mostly because I feel like I worry them sometimes, but that's besides the point. You know, as I said, resources like therapists and BetterHelp are out there to be able to, you know, just at least let you talk to somebody. If you go to college, I think here in Wisconsin at least, there's if you're a college student or at a university, they have counseling services at the universities. So utilize them if they're there for you, honestly. Or like you can get like a pet like I did. My emotional support animal, Penelope, is saved my life, dude. Saved my life. She also has anxiety, so most of the time we just lay together and have anxiety together. But, you know, that's how it is. But yeah, there's my message. Take care of yourself and your mental health. I don't know. Thank you guys for watching my failed makeup experiment. There's makeup all over the place. I don't really know how it turned out on my face, but yeah, I'm not a huge fan. Could be better. I'm never doing this again, as I said. So, remember, if you want me to read your like sad girl, sad boy stories, you can email them to me, which is also linked down below. I haven't gotten one yet, so it would be really cool if somebody actually sent me one so I can start actually reading something that's not mine. I would love to do that. Anyways, my name is Taylor, and I'm the sad girl next door. We'll see you next week.
I'ma tell you little lies and they sound like this. I'm fine. It's an oversimplification, cause I'm really contemplating. I just haven't picked the day yet. I'm fine. Just don't ask me to elaborate, cause I don't really know what I'm supposed to say. I'm fine.